Hey guys, so topic today is going to be because it directly affects me, and I seem to know a little bit about it these days. Is working out over 50, the dangers and the things you need to be careful with, right? So, let's get back a little. And I haven't made a video for a little bit. So started a new chapter, started umpiring, no more coaching for now, and also started building a new motorcycle. I don't think you can see it back there in the background, but kind of rebuilding. Actually, whatever. Anyway, so working out over 50. So for me, what I've run into is just a lot of minor nagging injuries that you have because you're old, right? This applies kind of to men and women. Really, I should label this over 40 because really after 40, all these things start to become a factor too. 50 for me is when I started, roughly over 50. So, or get back to it. So, we're going to talk about that today. So, as an example, I've developed a tendonitis here, which I've discovered is called a biceps tendonitis, which is probably from doing the chin-ups. Either way, can't do them anymore. I just can't. In fact, I was getting really upset because I wasn't able to do any of the curl work or anything that I'd put a lot of work into my arms and got them back, kind of where I wanted them, and it was all starting to slowly go away pretty quickly because I hadn't done anything except for some push-ups, which had me really, bothered. I have, however, discovered that and this is what I was getting to, look for alternate ways to develop the same areas you were trying to develop before. So I have this thing called a friction rower. It's a great machine. I bought it used. They don't even make the damn thing anymore. Proform is who built it. They don't even make parts for it anymore, but it's exactly what it sounds like. You strap your feet in, you got two pull poles, and you sit down in it in kind of a recumbent position, and you push and pull with your legs and push and pull with your arms against friction, and you work just like a row. And I hadn't really been using it the way as much as I probably should have, because I was using other things as an example. So now that I'm using the rower again, because you hold my row bars in this position and pull back, it's working my arms again. So, and not, this isn't sore at all right now, but I'm not going to go back to any of my chin-ups or any of that, because I at my age, I can't let a small nagging injury get worse. You just can't. I mean, you have to admit your age, folks. You have to just say, hey, you know what? I'm not 22 anymore, even though I'd love to look like I'm 22. I'm not. So those things have to be considered. You have to think about those small injuries and decide whether you can just take some time off and maybe it'll get a little better on its own. If that doesn't work, then you need to see a doctor right away. If you take, say, 2 weeks off from the exercise you believe is causing the injury to be irritated, the area to be irritated, and it makes no difference, see a doctor. Don't wait that out. I assume that most people watching this are in my age bracket. We're 40 plus, and the reality is, folks, we're on the downside of that hill now, right? We're not on the up anymore, so we need to be more careful. Working out is a great way to keep your body from deteriorating as fast, but at the same time, you can do too much. You can work too hard, and you can actually make it much worse, which is kind of what I did. I worked a little too hard. I worked a little too aggressively, and created an injury, right? So be aware. Notice when you have things that are hurting about it. Normal things. I mean, let's face it, guys. At our age, especially if we've been overweight for a while, knees and ankles are going to hurt. Yeah, they just are. That's just an aging factor, especially if we've been overweight for any length of time. Which, let's face it, most of America is overweight, all of the time, right? So I mean, I'm still, overweight. I tell people all the time, that I weigh roughly 200 pounds, but by height to weight, I think I'm supposed to be like 170. I think I'd have to look it back up, but so officially, I'm still 30 pounds overweight. I don't feel 30 pounds overweight. But that's the simple reality. So, ankles, knees, feet, those are all going to be things, hips are all going to be things that from carrying weight for 30 years are going to hurt even when you start to lose the weight. And in fact, maybe more, because part of losing the weight is normally a certain amount of exercise and, You haven't worked those parts in a long time. That's how we got in the shape we were in. We weren't doing anything to prevent it. So then once we start working, those parts that were already damaged from the weight and the sedentary lifestyle, they don't like it. And they fight back, right? So minor aches and pains, again, don't take medical advice from me, but minor aches and pains, I'm no super sharp stabbing pains, minor aches and pains, achy pains after working out. Take your pain reliever of choice. My recommendation is anything that removes inflammation, so generally an ibuprofen type thing. I'm not a fan of acetaminophen just because it just hides pain. It doesn't actually do anything to relieve the condition, to where that ibuprofen removes the inflammation, which is causing the pain, and lets you heal faster. You'll heal much better once the inflammation is gone. So that's not a doctor, remember, not a doctor, just my recommendation. So again, keep track of the pains that are new. We're old. We have pains. We have pains all the time. We have pains we live with. I promise you right now, if you're over 50, you have pain that you forgot you have. Your mind just hides it. It's still there. It's just so part of your daily life that your mind just hides it and you move on. Crazy, but true. So try to be mindful of those. Try to maybe, like really slow your head down and think about, did that hurt yesterday? Or am I just noticing it today? Or is it just worse today? And just be careful, just be cautious. I mean, work out as much as you can, as much as you're comfortable with. Just walk, or if you can afford it, right? Get a ski machine, get something, low impact. Swimming, man. If you have a pool, or getting into pool season, if you have access to an indoor pool, there may be no greater aerobic exercise on the planet than swimming. I'm not really a fan of aerobic exercise for men over 50, just because it study after study shows it really isn't. I mean, it's not that it's ineffective, but it's not nearly as effective as training your muscles, doing muscle training, weight training. But again, don't ignore all aerobic exercise. That's stupid. The rower that I'm using, I'm dying when I get off that thing. It is aerobic while being essentially a weight training machine. So just again, just heed that warning. Be careful. We're gonna have injuries. We're gonna have things that hurt. Again, like I said, I've started a whole new career where it's much more physical than what I was doing before. If you've ever, actually, the irony is most of us never watch a game. Anybody who knows me knows I've coached for decades and played the game, for years, and most of us never even really pay attention to the umpire generally unless he's calling something against our kid, right? And then we all see the umpire. But it's a very physical job, and I was a little concerned at first that I was gonna have some troubles, but because I've lost the weight, because I've been doing all this other aerobic exercise, I actually feel fantastic. I'm not sore or hurting after games. I can move and do whatever I need to do. Make no mistake now, I wear a knee brace. Some of that's old sports injuries, some of it's carrying a lot of weight. Motorcycle accidents, there's a lot of stuff I've done to this lower half, upper half too, but over the years it was just stupid, and now I pay for it. So I do wear a knee brace when I work, but I guess the point is that that's a career I don't think I could have had 2 years ago. I know I couldn't have before. Unfortunately, because of the damage I've done to my body through being overweight and just stupidity, I now have to consider every day before I go to work, do I need to take ibuprofen before I leave? The answer to that, by the way, is almost always yes. Obviously, you need the knee brace almost every single day. It's rare that I would even go without it to work. And I had been wearing a tendonitis strap, which I just stopped wearing because after no longer doing the chin-ups or the curl work, the tendonitis is finally, and this is like 4 weeks, almost a month that's been bothering me. And the reason I didn't see a doctor is I left it alone for a week. It felt a little better. Like a dumbass, I went back and started working again, and it started to hurt. So I left it for 2 weeks. It felt better, like a dumbass, went back again. So that's me. That's me being stupid, right? So this time I've left it alone for basically almost a month, which is distressing for me because a lot of the work I'd put in my arms was slowly starting to go away. Again, I'm not 20 anymore. Most people watching this aren't 20 anymore. We don't carry all that testosterone like we did before to maintain all that muscle. We have to put in the work. So I saw the deterioration in the arms as I was, having to lay off for a month. So, which is also why I jumped back in too early before. It was just vanity, And I mean, that's why we work out, honestly. Don't. Oh, one more thing, and then I'll cut this short, but not short, but off. Brag. You lost weight. You lost 5 pounds, 10 pounds. I don't give a shit. Brag. Tell everybody you know. Post it. Talk about it. Every crowd you walk into, tell everybody, I did it. Tell them you did it. Why? Because you did something millions of people either can't do or won't do, and you should brag. It's a big deal. You know how much 10 pounds is? 10 pounds is a lot. That's a sack of potatoes. Pick up a sack of potatoes, or a gallon of milk weighs roughly 8 pounds. Okay? You were walking around with a gallon of milk. Okay? Just brag. I don't give a shit if people roll their eyes and walk away. Let them roll their eyes and walk away. You have a right to brag. You did something fantastic that other people didn't do. That's really hard to do. Take credit. Take credit. I see that all the time. I know one person in particular who lost a lot of weight, a friend of mine, and I'm not going to give a name. This particular person, when you say, man, you look fantastic, this person would kind of, oh, yeah, thanks. No, man, thanks. I've really put in some work. I mean, it's been tough, but I got there. Give them the story. You want to, and you earned it. You earned the right to talk their ear off about what you've done. This person I'm talking about has lost well over 100 pounds. I don't know the number, but I know by looking at this person, way over 100. And they still kind of shirk. And, oh, yeah, well, thanks. Man, just get right in their face. Step up. Yeah, you really want to know the whole story? I mean, just tell them, right? Because, again, you earned the right to brag about that. It's a big deal. And I'm gonna kind of throw my wife in there. My wife even doesn't, she'll post a picture every now and then, but she doesn't really brag. My wife's lost roughly almost 50 pounds. That's a shit ton of weight to cut off, right? I would like to see her shouting from the mountaintops to everybody she meets, that she's down this many sizes and lost this much weight. Dude, it's hard. It's a tough thing to do, especially when you've been overweight most of your life. A lot of people, they come out of the box a little bit overweight and they just never really, get anywhere near maintaining a regular weight, which, that's kind of a questionable thing, in regular weight, whatever. So brag. Tell everybody you know. Tell everybody you see. Random strangers on the street. I don't give a shit. If nothing else, maybe you'll inspire somebody, or maybe they'll just get sick of hearing you brag about it. And they're like, well, I'll show them. Who cares? And if they don't do any of that, who gives a shit? You earned the right to brag. So do it. Be an asshole. Every party you go to, talk about it. Talk about how you did it, why you did it. Who gives a shit? You earned it. You earned the right to brag. That's all I got. I'll see you guys next time.